Although nearly everyone seems dissatisfied with VAT and many chose to express this through the action of protest today, not all participated, with some even declaring to MPs present that politicising the issue has angered them. The head of finances once again confirmed that the new VAT scheme will not be withdrawn, confirming that the goal remains the reduction of tax evasion and clarifying business costs will not be affected. According to the Service of Internal Affairs and Complaints, all police officers conducted themselves according to the Code of Conduct, with no officer acting outside the scope of their role during the protest at Kalimash. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Tuesday the 10th of April 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. Concerned about entering the VAT scheme and frightened by tax inspectors and controls, especially that which may come as a result of retaliation to the protest, small businesses and owners were not particularly friendly to the present media outlets during today's protest. Many stated that they do not wish to politicise the protest and that their actions were not in support of any political party, but an expression of their own personal beliefs that this tax threatens their livelihoods. Steel shutters surrounded the panoramic view of Tirana, with markets across the capital closing their doors in an announced protest from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. The opposition has also declared their support for the action. At the food market, where 300 subjects operate, most of the businesses chose to join the action, slamming their shutters down at 11 a.m. However, there were those who chose not to get involved, even going as far as debating with opposition MPs who were present. Businesses in the Madrasaya market received the most attention from both the media and politics, as well as from the associations. We will escalate the protests until the government revises the law. Setting the VAT tax like this is not fair. The government should make consultations, said the Vice Chairman of Business Association, Buyar Mucha. The refusal by some traders not to politicise the protest brought about debates with MPs present. In particular, many expressed their fear of the tax inspectors, the fines they are likely to impose, and the opportunities for them to take money from businesses via corrupt actions and activities. According to the traders, there is no evidence to distinguish today's government from that of yesterday's when it comes to their treatment. The VAT tax means bankruptcy for us, said one trader. The effects of the protest left the electricity market a ghost town, with only silver security shutters to greet customers an hour before midday. The main concern of traders here is the potential decrease in sales following the implementation of the tax. Present here, MPs Saliani and Shehi expressed that they are against VAT for these businesses. Many businesses have responded to the call to shut their doors. We are here to support these businesses, said DP MP Ervin Saliani. However, very few businesses on Kavaya and Dorsey streets got involved in the temporary shutdown of trading. Speaking when the cameras were not rolling, these traders advised they were sceptical about the potential success of this protest. The government reiterated it will not withdraw from the decision to involve small businesses that exceed 2 million lek in revenue per year from the VAT scheme. Just 60 minutes before the start of the traders' protest, the Minister of Economy and Finance once again clarified that business involvement in VAT will not affect costs. They lie when they say the prices will rise. No prices have been raised since April 1st, except as is to be expected given inflation. Our focus is those big businesses who try to pretend that they are struggling small businesses, explained Arben Ahmetaj. Ahmetaj accused the opposition of being the initiators of this protest, while rejecting the DP's claim that the expansion of the VAT scheme was made in order to provide further tenders to private companies in order to collect the tax. Ahmetaj went on to declare that by December, no fines will be imposed on businesses that make genuine mistakes in their declarations. Since the 1st of April, the threshold for business inclusion in the VAT scheme has dropped from 5 million lek per year to 2 million, with over 11,000 businesses being affected by this change. One day after the Kukës prosecution initiated criminal proceedings against the police officers who were responsible for guaranteeing security during the protest at Kalimash, the Service for Internal Affairs and Complaints declared that all police officers acted in accordance with the Code of Conduct, and no officer has acted outside the scope of their role. In response to Aura News' interest, official sources from the Interior Ministry said that the Service for Home Affairs and Complaints has carried out verifications on police actions regarding the protest in Kalimash and found that no violations had occurred. Thus, the SIAC has not lodged criminal proceedings with the prosecution regarding this case. In relation to the verification by the internal control, unofficial sources added that the security cameras of the tendered company were examined, the recordings by police reviewed, as well as the footage used in TV chronicles, with the testimonies of the group of about 80 police officers who were present at the National Highway also being heard. Preliminarily, the investigation has evidence that the police responded professionally, maintaining the standards of conduct even in the event that saw them attacked. On Monday, the Kukës prosecution recorded a criminal proceeding against action taken by police officers, though they did not specify any exact details. Only 5 days after law entered into force, senior directors of the state police have begun the self-declaration process under the framework of vetting the ranks of the blue uniforms. Police sources told Aura News that 300 officers at the highest ranks will be the first phase of the police force subject to self-declaration, while the deadline will be up to May 5. Thereafter, they will pass through the sieve of the External Evaluation Commission, consisting of university professors and the High Asset Declaration Inspectorate. Further, the middle grades and finally the lower ones will be verified until all 11,000 police state officers pass through the sieve. The vetting process in the police is based on the criteria relating to purity of reputation, proof of wealth, and adherence to professional and educational requirements. Sources add that the relevant documentation for these criteria is being verified. The Mayor of Tirana, Erion Veliaj, stated that the time has come for Albanian politics to be more worried about future generations than about future elections. Speaking at a seminar with the topic the misuse of administrative resources during election processes, Erion Veliaj said that the elections are only once in every 4 years, while work for future generations should occur daily. Veliaj said that the issue of the lack of confidence in the government is one of the main problems of the electoral processes in Albania. We need daily contributions to move forward. One of our deficiencies in our election process is the lack of trust and the doubts that people have. There is always the thought that the others will cheat, said Erion Veliaj. In the presence of representatives of partner organisations such as the OSCE and the Council of Europe, the Socialist MP Ervin Bushati emphasised Albania's deservedness for integration, citing successes in some recent reforms. We think that Albania has moved quickly during these years, has done a lot to be closer to Europe, and we think that we deserve to be part of it as soon as possible. We have undertaken a territorial reform which has radically changed the map of Albania, said Ervin Bushati. This event was organised by the Council of Europe's Assembly in cooperation with the Parliament of Albania and the Venice Commission. Tirana's Mayor, Erion Veliaj, hosted the Mayor of Bologna, Virginio Marola, for a meeting today. The pair talked of improved cooperation between the cities, with Marola also commenting on the positive climate created in Tirana. According to him, our capital is being regenerated by absorbing more foreign investment, especially from Italian entrepreneurs. Many Italians work here. There are also many Albanians living in my city. Tirana is a city that is being regenerated thanks to your work. Open cities are cities that will have a future because they attract people, intelligence, and thus contribute to the development of the future. We do not want to make our cities into carbon copies of each other, but to look for concrete joint projects. Therefore, a new cooperation has been born today, said Bologna's mayor. In a sign of friendship and cooperation between the two cities, Veliaj handed his counterpart the key to the city. Later, they visited Skanderberg Square, where they symbolically planted some trees. The Mayor of Tirana assessed that Bologna has become a second home for many Albanian students who, at the end of their studies, return to contribute the knowledge they have acquired back into the service of developing the city. Bologna is a city that hosts many Albanian students who have turned that city into their home. Many former Bologna students work in the municipality of Tirana today. I am glad that together with the exchanges we had today, we also had the special pleasure to see how the investment that Bologna makes to students is returned to the citizens of Tirana in the form of good administrators, said Erion Veliaj. The two counterparts also discussed the orientation of young people into the labour market, as 20% of the capital's population consists of students. An important point of discussion between the two counterparts was the increase in cooperation in the field of agribusiness to assist in the development of rural areas. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.